Well, it's good to see you all. It's good to see you. I didn't know how many would make it after the huge snowstorm that we had yesterday. I don't know really how it was at your place, but around here the roads were really, really wet. I do want to welcome you to the COBYS Barbershop Banquet. I must say that most of you are looking better than what I expected. I thought that since you were coming to a barbershop, more of you would be looking a little bit shaggy. I mean, there are a few of you who look a little unkempt, but overall, I didn't notice too many who were badly in need of a haircut. But who am I to be judging your hair? Our agenda for tonight is fairly simple. We're going to enjoy a good meal together, and as promised, there will be no hair in your soup because there is no soup. After the meal, we'll enjoy some music from the Yater sisters, and then we'll see who stops in at our barbershop to talk about some COBYS-related things. We'll try to keep things moving along at a good clip. Our goal is always to get you out of here by 9 o'clock, so that's what we're shooting for tonight. At the end of the program, we hope you'll toss in your 2 bits for the shave and a haircut. Tips are welcome in this barbershop. All proceeds support the ministries of COBYS Family Services. If you do decide to give a gift this evening, there are gift envelopes on the tables. You can either insert your check or cash in the envelope or fill out the credit card information on the envelope. And then as you leave the program this evening, there's this gift-wrapped box over here with a slot in the top. Just drop your gift in there as you go. Please do not let envelopes with gifts on the tables. Those tend to get lost or get thrown away, and we don't like to throw away gifts. A word about dessert. The menu says choice of dessert. That really is a bald-faced lie. There are, in fact, 2 desserts, chocolate cake with peanut butter icing and cherry pie, but you do not get to choose. The servers will distribute them to every other person, and then it's up to you to work it out among yourselves. Trading is encouraged. Asking the servers to give you a specific dessert that you want is not. You actually still do get a choice of dessert. The menu does not lie. You can choose whether to eat it or not. I would recommend that you eat it. During the meal, we'll continue to circulate some slides on the screen that provide some information about our ministries and some upcoming events. In addition, later we'll be talking about our growth and our expansion in our new building. And so we've thrown some photos in of the volunteers and contractors that were doing some renovations and our recent move. So you can take a glance up at those once in a while during the meal if you'd like to. I'd like to call now on COBYS board member Becky Fuchs to come and ask God's blessing on our meal and our time together. Becky is pastor of the Mountville Church of the Brethren. After she prays, you'll be dismissed by table to go back to the buffet line and get your food. If you need any help getting your food, I think one of these nice people over here along the wall would be glad to help you do that.
Please join me in prayer. Holy and divine parent, you have called us your children, and in so doing expanded the definition of family to include those drawn together by heart and spirit. At this gathering of family, connected to each other by Christ, we give you thanks for the work of COBYS that shapes and strengthens families through adoptions, by reuniting parents and children, with growth through counseling and education, and through foster care. Continue to guide the ministry of COBYS and the work of each staff person and team so they may continue to educate, support, and empower children and the adults in their lives to be all you created them to be. Loving parent of us all, you are the host of our family reunion this evening, and we give you thanks for the food and fellowship we will enjoy. We're grateful for all the people who have provided and prepared our meal, and for those who are serving us this evening. Make us aware of your presence at each table and your spirit of love that binds us together as family. We pray in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
A lot of work goes into setting up for this event, preparing and serving the meal and cleaning up after we leave, and it's all done by volunteers here at the church. The money raised through these events supports the church's outreach ministries, and occasionally even COBYS gets a check from the Middle Creek Kitchen Committee, and we're grateful for that in addition to the great service that we get here. We are grateful that Middle Creek takes such a good care of us every year, and this year they're working extra hard because we had a big jump in attendance. If you enjoyed the meal, I would invite you to join me in thanking the Middle Creek volunteers with a round of applause. You may be interested in a few numbers. Last year we had a record attendance of 598 people at the two seatings of our banquet. Some people attended both seatings, so if you eliminate the duplicates, you end up with 582 unique attenders last year, some of them more unique than others. Coming into today, on paper, we expected attendance in the neighborhood of 750 people. We had a few no-shows, and we have 14 people who decided to make the day of it and attend both seatings. But if you add them up, we had 292 at noon and 440 this evening for a total of 732, 718 unique. So just a huge jump in attendance this year. We had no idea so many people needed a barber. We want to especially thank our table sponsors tonight who took the time to invite friends and family. It helps spread the word about what we do, and it's one of the big reasons that our banquet has been growing, that we have folks who are willing to pay for a table and take the time to invite others. So thank you for doing that if you sponsored a table this evening. Blue Ridge Cable 11 stopped in at lunchtime and did a little story on this event. If you're in Blue Ridge's neighborhood, I think it's going to be on at 10 o'clock tonight, so you can see what it looked like at lunchtime here and see that little segment. Last year, our banquet income was $60,864. So with what we have from table sponsors and others so far, plus the $16,000 that was given at lunchtime today, we currently are at about $40,000. So another $21,000 from those here this evening and those who choose to give after the banquet will get us a new income record as well. I don't want to presume what you all might give, but with the big jump in attendance, it would seem to me like it shouldn't really be a close shave to establish a new giving record. We do appreciate your attendance and your support. We're thrilled to have the Yater sisters with us to provide some music tonight. I had been trying for quite a few years to get them to come, and this year finally the stars aligned and it suited all their schedules, and we're glad to have them. Rachel Castle, Joanna, and Lois Yater have been singing together for as long as they can remember. Some of their favorite childhood memories consist of gathering around the piano to sing with their late father, Norman Yater. They provide music from time to time at the Chickies Church of the Brethren, where they are members. Rachel earned music degrees at Lebanon Valley College and a Master of Music in French Horn Performance from the University of Florida. Joanna is in her final semester at Lebanon Valley College, where she is double majoring in early childhood and special education, along with a music minor. And Lois is a junior at Manheim Central High School, where she participates in various musical groups and has performed at the county and the district level as well. So we look forward to their music this evening.
Protection while we sleep. We pray for healing, for prosperity. We pray for your mighty hand to ease our suffering, and all the while you hear each spoken need, yet love us way give us lesser things. 'Cause what if your blessings come through raindrops? What if your healing comes through tears? What if 1,000 sleepless nights are what it takes to know you're near? What if trials of this life are your mercies in disguise? We pray for wisdom, your voice to hear, and we cry in anger when we cannot feel you near. We doubt your goodness, we doubt your love, as if every promise from your word is not enough. And all the while you hear each desperate plea, and long that we'd have faith to believe. 'Cause what if your blessings come through raindrops? What if your healing comes through tears? What if 1,000 sleepless nights are what it takes to know you're near? What if trials of this life are your mercies in disguise? When friends betray us, when darkness seems to win, we know the pain reminds this heart that this is not our hope. It's not our hope. 'Cause what if your blessings come through raindrops? What if your healing comes through tears? What if 1,000 sleepless nights are what it takes to know you're near? What if my greatest disappointments or the aching of this life is a revealing of a greater thirst this world can't satisfy? What if trials of this life, the rain, the storms, the hardest nights, are your mercies in disguise? frustrated brother. See how he's tried to light his own candle some other way. See now your sister, she's been robbed and lied to, still holds a candle without a flame. So carry your candle, run to the darkness, seek out the holy, the tired and worn. Hold out your candle for all to see it. Take your candle, go light your world. Take your candle, go light your world. We are a family whose hearts are blazing. So let's raise our candles, light up the sky, praying to our Father in the name of Jesus. Make us a beacon in darkest times. So carry your candle, run to the darkness, seek out the helpless, deceived and poor. Hold out your candle for all to see it. Take your candle, go light your world. Carry your candle, run to the darkness, seek out the hopeless, confused and torn. Hold out your candle for all to see it. Take your candle and go light your world. Take your candle, go light your world.
Hey, hello, Don. Welcome to Tim's, the friendly neighborhood barbershop where everybody knows your name. Hey, what can I do for you?
Well, I just came to read the latest issue of the Fish Wrapper and catch up on the news. You know, these days I'm more interested in the social aspects of barbershops than the actual barbering aspects of barbershops. Kind of a light crowd here so far, isn't it?
Yeah, but it'll pick up. So how are things going for you?
Oh, Tim, it's been a little crazy at work these past few months. Maybe you heard COBYS bought a new building.
Yes, I did hear that. Now, where did I hear that?
Well, probably at work, since your day job is as a business operations manager at COBYS and you just got moved into a new office 2 weeks ago, but that's just a guess. Anyway, it's the former Simon Lever Building at 444 Murray Hill Circle, right there along Oregon Pike, just north of Route 30. We're calling the building Murray Hill Center, and it's housing our adoption, foster care, and family life education staff. At least it soon will be. We've just moved foster care and adoption staff in so far.
Well, you know, people keep asking me if you're going to get rid of the old mill on Oregon Road. Is that true?
Nope, we're not getting rid of any of our other 3 buildings, although by the time all the moving is done, the lower level of the mill, the Oregon Mill, where our main office is, may be available to lease for a time. So let me know if you hear of anybody who's looking for a space to rent. Maybe you want to move your shop there.
That would be great. Oh,
Mark!
Hi, yeah.
Hello, welcome to Tim's your friendly neighborhood barbershop where everybody knows your name.
Oh, thank you.
Come on in.
What are you doing here?
What exactly is that supposed to mean?
Well, it's a barbershop. I hope you get a discount.
Well, Mark, actually, I charge him extra. Finder's fee. You know, Don and I were just talking about the buzz that's going around about the new COBYS building, Murray's Circle Center. Or
Murray Hill Center. Yeah. Yep. It's been quite a journey, I'll tell you that. A little more than a year ago, we engaged True Edge Performance Solutions to help us kind of sort out where we were headed as an organization. And one thing that came out of that process is that we began looking for a building to give us some extra room to grow. It was getting very, very cramped at our main office, and we also needed additional classroom space and counseling space at our Family Life Center in downtown Lancaster.
Hey, Cindy, welcome to Tim's, the friendly neighborhood barbershop where everybody knows your name. Come on in, come on
so
in.
This is a barbershop. I
Yes.
always wondered what was in here. What are you doing here?
Cindy, Cindy, we were just talking about the new building and how things were so cramped.
Well, cramped doesn't really begin to describe the main office situation. For the past year or more, we've been parking our COBYS-owned vehicles off-site at the Oregon Community United Methodist Church to make room for our staff and our counseling clients. And then in recent months, we've been organizing a daily shuttle to take 4 or 5 additional cars over to the church. It was all getting a little tiresome. I was really about ready to pull my hair out over all this congestion.
That would have been something.
You know, I was part of those carpools.
Me too.
Yeah, me too.
You know, I kind of miss that camaraderie of the daily travels between the church and our parking lot.
Yeah, I don't think I do.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, me neither either. Yeah. And inside the office, it was even more crowded than in the parking lot. Offices that used to have 1 or sometimes 2 people in it had 3, or even toward the end, 4 people sharing one office.
And Mark really is not exaggerating about the growth. Early in 2015, COBYS employed about 67 staff, about half of them full-time. And we had a biweekly payroll of about $61,000. But in January of this year, our staff had grown to 123, basically double. Again, many of them part-time, but now with a payroll of $92,000. So with all of this growth, we just obviously had to do something.
And it wasn't quite this simple, but what we ended up doing was buying a 13,600 square foot building, which is really big. To give you an idea, to give you a visual of how big this is, imagine a building, if you will, that is 13,600 stories high. And if that's how high it would be if each floor had 1 square foot. So it's, I mean,
Wow, that's one big building.
huge. It's huge.
If you don't mind me asking, like, how are you gonna, like, what's the cost of this?
Well, we purchased it for $1.1 million, and we invested about $250,000 additionally in upgrades. It definitely is a lot of money, but it could have been a whole lot more if we hadn't had the tremendous volunteer support that we did. All told, we had about 60 volunteers provide more than 660 hours of service, including 220 hours on the very first day. Several volunteers returned multiple times to keep the project moving along.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Wonderful.
Now, could I interest somebody to get their hair cut. I mean, even Mark, Cindy, how about it?
No, thanks. I just came for the fellowship.
You know, and if Mark and Don are your examples, I'm looking elsewhere.
All the volunteer support was really encouraging. With their help and with a lot of help from staff who put in a lot of extra hours, we purchased the building on January 12th. We began renovations on January 15th, and we moved 26 foster care and adoption staff in on February 22nd and 23rd. On March 28th, we're moving 7 staff from the Family Life Education Department that is currently in Lancaster. We're moving them to the new building. And then on April 13th, we're moving counseling, which currently is on the lower level of the main office, to the main floor of the main office.
Yes, and our counseling staff are looking forward to seeing the light of day. If you don't mind me asking, how are we paying for this? Are we going to have a capital funds campaign, or did we just have $1.5 million lying around somewhere for a special occasion?
Well, we did not have $1.5 million just lying around but to purchase it outright. We did finance a portion of the building, but partly because of previous generous support from people like you, we have been able to set aside reserves in recent years. And while there are obvious disadvantages to cramming too many people in too little space, one clear advantage of that is we kept our overhead costs very low. Now I'm starting to worry about moving into this new big building.
It's going to be fine, Cindy. No worries. Anyway, because we are financially healthy, we were able to make the purchase. And something else, happened on that day that we clearly identify as a God thing. On the very day that we purchased the building, on January 12th, when I got back to the office, we were informed that a donor we were informed that a donor left us in his will, and that amount covered about 25% of the entire project that we were going into. That's the largest estate gift that COBYS has ever received, and we also have recently received 3 other relatively large bequests.
It really underscores the major impact that a donor can have by including an organization like COBYS in their estate planning. And it makes sense that if a person has a heart for kids and families when they're living, they might want to dedicate a portion of their estate to an organization like us and bless us at the time of their death. Partly because of these generous donors who remembered us in their wills, we will not be launching a full-blown capital campaign to pay off the new building. We will be sending out a letter inviting people to give a little extra toward the project as they feel led, and we hope if you get one of those letters that you'll respond generously.
And later this spring or early summer, when we're fully settled in, we're going to be hosting an open house, and you all will be invited, and I hope you will be able to come and see the new building.
Well, I have to go to bed. I have to work tomorrow.
Hey, thanks, Cindy. Thanks for coming.
Hey, I don't know if this is your kind of place.
Krista.
Hey, Krista!
Welcome to Tim's, the friendly neighborhood barbershop where everybody knows your name. Come
Oh,
on
hi,
in.
Mark and Don. What's Don doing here?
Come on in, Krista, and have a seat. We were just talking about COBYS and their, well, we're talking about COBYS, aren't we?
She's not our stereotypical client, is she?
True. Yes, that's exactly what I was going to say. Krista, you are not my stereotypical client. Normally, ladies come in and they look around and say something like, "Salon, good to know you." So how can I help you?
Actually, I'm here because we've been dealing with some tough stuff at the COBYS Permanency Unit, and I heard you're a good listener.
Yeah.
Come sit in my chair, Krista.
Page 20, Tim, page 20.
Just watch those scissors, please.
All right. You know, we were talking about the growth at COBYS, and it's something that's kind of hard for me to understand is where all this growth is coming from. With, you know, are all the agencies like this growing like COBYS?
Well, there are some larger trends that are fueling growth of agencies like ours, but not all agencies are growing. In fact, some agencies like COBYS are actually shrinking. I think one reason we're growing is that we have earned a reputation for providing quality services. If you do something well, you get asked to do more of it. I think part of the reason we're doing well is that we are an organization that is motivated by Christian faith. We view the work that we do as a ministry. As far as the larger trends, one is the ongoing effects of the legislation that came out of the Jerry Sandusky child abuse scandal, which has resulted in more children being placed in foster care. Currently, COBYS has nearly 100 children in our foster care system. Permanency is dealing with another about 100 children. So at this time, we are dealing with many more children than we ever have before in our 38-year history.
The other trend is the opioid addiction crisis that's plaguing Pennsylvania. In 2017, in Lancaster County alone, 164 people died of drug overdoses, nearly all of them caused by prescription painkillers, heroin, or heroin laced with fentanyl. That was a 40% increase in overdose deaths over the previous year.
And in one single week in December, 9 people died from overdoses in Lancaster County. And the story is similar across the state and across the nation. And in many of those cases of addiction, there are children involved. And those kids end up needing care from organizations like COBYS.
That's actually what I need to talk about. At the COBYS Permanency Unit, we are currently serving 69 families. 40 of those families, which is 58%, are involved in the County Children and Youth Agency because of drug abuse. 70% of children placed through the COBYS foster care program are in care because of at least one parent struggling with drug addiction. We are in the midst of a drug epidemic, and those hit hardest are the children. I came to talk to you, Tim, about 2 boys whose mom was engaged in an uphill battle with heroin. The Lancaster County Children and Youth Agency worked with this family for several years while mom struggled with drug use. In 2016, the boys were placed in the custody of the agency because their mom could no longer keep them safe. One of the boys was able to reside with his grandparents, while the younger boy was placed with the COBYS Foster Adoptive Resource Family. COBYS Permanency staff also had the opportunity to work with this family. We worked with mom to set her up with resources and services, motivated and empowered her to work through drug and alcohol treatment and to be the best mom that she could be for her boys. We walked alongside her through the peaks and valleys of her treatment and sobriety. We celebrated with her when she was close to being 2 years sober and had completed the goals that the court had ordered for her. Her boys were going home. Then, less than 2 weeks before Christmas, and less than 1 week before the boys were supposed to go home, we received a call that mom had overdosed on heroin and passed away. The resource family caring for the youngest boy had been preparing him for reunification with his mother and celebrating with him that he would soon return home, but instead needed to grieve with him that his mother was now dead due to her addiction to a powerful drug. What do we say to these boys? How do we process this tragedy with them? How will Christmas ever be a joyous occasion again for these boys? COBYS Permanency and foster care staff collaborated with our counseling department to talk about how to begin to process this loss with the boys, and also helped our workers to process the loss themselves. We discussed how to talk to the boys, how to use the word death so that they knew their mom was not coming back, how to tell them that it was okay to be angry, it was okay to cry and be sad. We talked about how to help the foster parents get through the grief process with the children. The COBYS adoption worker who had been working through child preparation with the youngest boy, preparing him to go home, had to shift her work to talk to him about the grief and loss and prepare him for adoption. At a time of tragedy, COBYS came together to support this family. Several COBYS staff attended the viewing and the funeral. We worked with our counseling department to begin trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapy for the boys to help them process the grief and loss of their mother. Thankfully for the youngest boy, his resource parents are eager to begin the process of adoption so that he can be loved in a permanent and stable home. The older boy will continue to live with his grandparents and at the end of this month achieve permanency through legal guardianship. As a supervisor at the permanency unit, I sometimes get the chance to sit back and watch a case unfold. I get to witness workers in the trenches with family and see their dedication and commitment as they advocate for what is best for our children. I can say that the way our staff came together to support this family is unlike anything I have seen in my 6.5 years at COBYS. From the permanency caseworker empowering and motivating mom to work on her plan, to collaboration between the units to support one another and support these children through tragedy, to foster parents who never wavered in their love and commitment for a child, I saw a glimmer of hope in an otherwise tragic situation. While we continue to fight what seems like an uphill battle with the drug epidemic, there's no doubt in my mind that COBYS is making a positive difference in the lives of children and families.
It's Krista for sharing. And you're right, our staff has dealt with difficult and emotionally draining work, and that includes the therapists, educators, and caseworkers at all 3 of the counseling centers.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you. Come again.
So, Tim, do you charge extra when you do counseling in your barbershop?
No, I don't. It comes with the territory, but maybe I could. I do help with the COBYS counseling program, and maybe I could bill her insurance. Yeah. But I probably can't because I'm not credentialed. But we have 7 therapists that are credentialed and certainly are able to do what Krista talked about, how our therapists support and continue to support our staff and the children, families involved in this tragic story. We do have a tremendous team of therapists, and one of the key services they offer in helping children and teens to overcome the effects of trauma.
And isn't it also true that our family life educators and therapists are working at issues related to the heroin epidemic?
That is true, and actually this person that's coming here, I think she'll be able to tell us all about it.
Abby!
Abby, welcome to Tim's.
How are you doing?
The family-friendly neighborhood barbershop.
Oh, thanks, Tim.
Yes, it is
Help him say that
family-friendly.
next
It's
time.
family-friendly, too.
You probably want to
But
cut my hair?
I
Yeah,
do.
but
Could
no,
I
have
cut
to
it?
say no because I already had it done this week, actually 2 times. So
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
me too.
Hey, Don, what are you doing here? Don, it's a barbershop.
Yeah, I'm just living the dream. Yeah. What? How about you?
Well, I'm trying to network. The Family Life Education Department, alongside with the Counseling Department, really tries to network and make sure that we're providing different options for the county. And so we network with social service organizations, churches, and others. And I don't think, though, we've ever partnered with a barbershop. That would be cutting edge, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I wonder how large of a class I could have here.
Yeah, I think you could put a lot of people in here.
Yeah. How many?
The problem is that we can't get anybody to exactly have a haircut.
We were just talking about the drug epidemic and the ways that COBYS is impacted by it and is trying to help others who are impacted.
Yeah, have you talked about seeking safety yet?
Not yet, but I have a feeling we're going to.
Yes, you are. That's right. So Seeking Safety is an evidence-based program that is designed to treat trauma symptoms and addictive behaviors at the same time. Many people affected by trauma, as we know, look towards substance abuse to take care of their feelings. Seeking Safety helps participants learn to navigate triggers and successfully build a life of safety, security, and well-being. The county uses the grant money to enable COBYS to provide the service. And one of the exciting things about this program is one of our therapists, Landon Miller, is actually able to attend the drug court treatment team and also attend mental health court and veteran court treatment teams. This really helps us understand the treatment court process and the needs of the people we serve.
And this is pretty new, so how's it going, Abby?
Yeah, it is really new. The class is actually being offered on an open enrollment style, so people can join at any time. They don't have to wait until another class opens. We currently have 2 classes, one on Tuesday night and one on Tuesday morning and one on Sunday night, and serving about 10 people, but we expect it to grow. We've been impressed with the dedicated staff that supports people towards recovery, and obviously the brave people that are overcoming these struggles. Look, they're on the news. It's Karen. It's Karen Andriatis. She's the Lancaster County Court Treatment Team Coordinator. Oh, and she has Hamlet with her. Wait till you see Hamlet. He's one of my favorite therapy dogs, and he has amazing positive effect on those in the probation office.
I work for Lancaster County Adult Probation. I'm the coordinator for the 3 treatment courts we have in Lancaster. We have drug court, veterans court, and mental health court. The treatment courts are program models based on proven national research and evidence-based practice models that give the participants an opportunity to address their treatment needs at the same time as they address their legal issues. The soonest you can get through the program is 1 year, so it's a big commitment. In the end, they can possibly have their charges either dismissed or even possibly expunged. So we've been working with COBYS for years at the probation office. We send them our clients and just our regular adult probation office. We send them our clients for parenting classes and other programs that they offer. COBYS has partnered with us recently in a grant. And since then, they've been coming to our team meetings and our court sessions, just trying to learn where our biggest needs are, our biggest issues that our participants face on a daily basis. So they've been a huge help to us. So Seeking Safety has been giving our participants the opportunity to address their trauma and their addiction at the same time, which is something that many of them haven't learned at this point. They've turned to substance abuse to deal with their past trauma, and substance abuse and other addictive behaviors to help them deal with what they've experienced in the past. When they come into the program, they're addressing their treatment needs, but they're not learning the coping skills of what to do when they are having issues. And so COBYS is working with our participants, teaching them the coping skills, and so far it's been great. So all 3 treatment courts are being represented in Seeking Safety right now. And I just see the difference. I can see them coming in, they're enjoying it, they're talking about it. Each participant in the program has to report to the judge every week during the court session. They'll go to the podium and they'll talk to the judge about how their week went, what went well, what didn't go well. And they're talking to the judge about what they're doing in Seeking Safety and how it's helping them.
Well, thank you, Abby, for stopping by.
Oh, I guess you're pushing me out, huh?
But
because I didn't take a haircut, is that why?
Well, before you go, could I cut your bangs?
No,
Just let me
that's
cut your
okay.
hair.
No, that's okay. I have an appointment later. Thanks, Tim. Bye, you guys. Nice to see you.
ya.
Abby.
Jen! Welcome to Tim's, the neighborhood barbershop where everybody knows your name.
Oh, well, thanks. It's good to be here.
Yeah. Hey, could I interest you in a haircut?
No, but thanks for asking. But you know what? I am curious to learn a little bit, maybe about scheduling an appointment for my 2 boys.
Oh, okay.
I have a couple questions first for you, though.
Fire away.
All right, do you do mohawks?
No.
Those cuts that are long on one side and buzzed on the other?
No, I'm sorry.
How about the ones that are really short in the front, long in the back with a little braid?
No. I'm afraid not.
Do you carve letters in the hair on the sides of head?
No, I don't think I'm that great of a speller.
Do you dye hair purple?
No.
How about hot pink?
No.
Chartreuse?
I don't even know what that is. I don't know.
Indigo?
I'm afraid not. I don't think I'm the type of barber you want.
Actually, you're just the kind of barber I'm looking for.
Okay.
Be in touch to make those appointments.
All right, great.
What's Don doing here?
Yeah. Still trying to figure that out. So Jen, tell us what's new in adoption.
Sure, well, it's not really what's new as much as it is what's old. This year marks the 20th anniversary of our adoption program.
20 years,
Yeah.
really? Mm-hmm. And if I'm not mistaken, you had played a primary role in establishing that program.
Yeah. I was a part of that. I began working for COBYS in the spring of 1995 as a foster care caseworker. At that time, COBYS, we didn't provide adoption services, just foster care. So when children were not able to be reunified with their birth family, we had to refer families and children to other agencies. So we just began to ask some questions and said, well, why can't we provide these services?
So Jen was the one that did a lot of the legwork to help us become an affiliate of the statewide Adoption and Permanency Network, which we call SWAN, and ultimately to receive our state licensure to become an approved adoption agency. She was our first adoption supervisor. And then she left us for a decade or so to start her family, and now she's back again as our adoption supervisor. Incidentally, she is one of 4 staff currently who recently came back for a second round after time off to raise their families.
And once we were an approved adoption agency, it just worked out much better for the children and families that we serve. So we finalized our first adoption in December of 1998. It was a young 10-year-old girl named Jerica who was adopted by Brent and Julie Hess.
Oh, welcome to Tim's, the friendly neighborhood barbershop where everybody knows your name. Hi, I'm Tim. Yeah, nice to meet you. And what are your names?
We have our name tag on.
Yes, you do.
I'm Brent, this is Julie, and this is our daughter, Jerica.
Ah, very good to meet you, Jerry.
What are the chances?
Yes.
You guys just hopping by right
Small world.
now. I know, right?
Well, come on in and talk with us.
Would you be able to tell us a little bit about your story?
Yes, perhaps you could boil down 20 years of your lives into a 5 to 7 minute presentation that would inform and inspire all those present.
No problem. Actually, what we're going to do is we have a video that Jerica has answered some questions, and she's going to share about her life from her perspective as an adoptive child.
I was adopted when I was 10 years, 10 months, and 10 days. I calculated out at a very young age so that I knew exactly how special I was. I had been taken out of my family due to sexual abuse that had spanned for a while before the county office, I guess, decided to investigate, and they found, they said it was one of the most severe cases of neglect that they had seen. I remember the one house we lived in not having food, and my sister and I would steal food from the store. Mom was around, but not around at that point. She was in the house, but she kept herself locked in a room that we were not allowed to see her unless she wanted something. My parents, when I first got there, made me feel very welcome. But here I had my very own room. They had toys and stuff for me, and got rid of all the stuff that brought in that stupid garbage bag that foster kids get. They got rid of all that stuff and went out and bought me new stuff that was my very own and wasn't hand-me-downs from somebody else's kids or from like reuse it shops or something. I remember coming to my parents' home and being like, calling my mom as soon as I got there, which I don't remember doing at any of the other places that I had been at. I had everything like a normal kid had. I had 2 parents, I had a house, I had food, and when I think back on it, I think of myself as having been a perfect angel at that time. But I went back later and read records of myself at that time, and I was like, oh my goodness, I don't know why these people kept me. My adoption day was probably one of the highlights of my life. I got to get all dolled up, I got to wear a beautiful dress, and got to get my hair all pretty. So I was very nervous going in there. The judge we had, Judge Grimm, was amazing. He asked me if I wanted to be adopted first before he asked anybody else what was going on. He was like, do you want these to be your parents forever? And I was like, yes I do. I want to stay with them forever. I am one of 75 cousins. My family on my dad's side has supported me. They still support me. I go to my aunts when I need prayer for things, when I'm struggling, when I'm just like, I can't do this anymore. I don't think I could have come into a better family. So when I was adopted, I went to church with my parents because, I was supposed to. My dad was a pastor, so as the pastor's daughter, you kind of have to be there. But once I was old enough to decide to go to church, I stopped going. And for a while, I lost my way. And then after my son was born, I realized that it was dangerous and stupid to be dabbling with other entities and powers. And I wanted to belong to something that felt safe and that I knew had been there. And around that time is when I realized that, all these years, God has been chasing me relentlessly. I became active in a church while I was pregnant with my son. 3 weeks after he was born, I was baptized. And a few weeks after that, I had both of my kids dedicated at that church. My life with the Hesses has been so much better than what it would have been had I not been adopted. Or I like to think even if I had been adopted by another family, but I might just be a little bit biased in that area. I have come out very far in the last 5 years even. I graduated highest honors from HAC, made the dean's list every semester. I just want to say to my parents, I love you guys immensely. I know I probably don't show it as much as I feel it, but you guys are part of my universe, and that is a very small group. I just want to thank you guys for sticking with me through all that I've put you through, and I want to apologize for all that I've put you through, and promise to continue working on my issues and growing and doing everything I can to be worthy of the home that you have given me and all the love that you have given me and my kids. And just want you to know that I just love you very, very, very much, and I'm so thankful that I'm getting to be part of your family.
Well, as you heard, Jerica came into our family when she was adopted when she was 10, but what you didn't know, she came into our family when she was 7. We had just finished up with a foster child that was going to a group home, and I had stopped by the COBYS office to hand off his clothing. And Stacy Lee Barber came out and said, Julie, I know that this placement wasn't great, but we have a little girl. We thought maybe a girl and maybe somebody younger would be good. Now, she's a pistol.
And she wasn't kidding. I just said jokingly to her, I said, well, if she's a pistol, then this kid that we just had must have been a machine gun. But I came to find out that we really had a full arsenal with Jerica. So, adoption has been an adventure for us. It's been a journey. It's not an event. I mean, it is an event, but it's much longer than an event. It's a process. And just like all of us are on a journey as we grow and develop, as we change, we have our issues that we're working through, and sometimes people think, oh, you're such a great person for being a foster parent or adoptive parent, but, we are. No, I mean, I'm kidding. That's only part of the story. God is at work in our lives, just like he's at work in Jerica's life and all the children's lives. He puts us together. I heard recently of a story where they said, a family is really, imperfect parents raising imperfect kids, and they bring out their issues. And whether that's, a biological family or an adoptive family, those issues are very real. So we've been on a journey, and there's been peaks and valleys, but we've sensed God's faithfulness through those years. And, without a sense of call, we were clearly called to be foster parents, adoptive parents, and without that, it would have been really difficult for us to navigate this journey.
Not only did Jerica come with a bag of clothes, but she also came with a can of soup, alphabet soup. And some of the main ingredients in that can of alphabet soup was ADD, ADHD, ODD, and then after adoption, we got the words RAD. That was quite a surprise. Mm-hmm. And a result of that, there was countless hours of counseling, but we were really blessed to have great counselors that really helped all of us walk through those journeys.
Yeah, and we've certainly relied on the wonderful counselor through all of this as well, and he's been so faithful to us. But as I said, it's been a journey. So through this journey and through the years, there's been some verses that we've held on to, and Julie's going to share one, and I'll share one as well. So go ahead, hon.
Okay. The one that I have to keep going back to is Galatians 6:9. It says, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at a proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." So many times, all of us have things that we want to give up, just like there were many times Jerica wanted to give up on things. I wanted to give up, but God helped us to persevere, and through the persevering, we're seeing hope and redemption. We're seeing lives changed. We're seeing a family line changed, and for that we are grateful.
Yeah, and I think the verse that's been really special to us is Romans 15:13. May the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace as you trust in him, and may you overflow with hope through the power of the Holy Spirit. And that hope is just foundational when you're going through times in your life that seem kind of hopeless. but God infuses us with hope, and He has been there, through thick and thin. And we're so thankful and so grateful for the support that we've had from COBYS through the journey, and that we've had excellent caseworkers, counselors, and it's just been a pleasure to be affiliated with this organization.
Well, how fortunate it was that Brent, Julie, and Jerica stopped by, right?
Yeah.
One thing that you may have noticed in their story is that there were many ups and there were many downs. And we recognize that, and we understand that families sometimes need support after they adopt. So another service that we provide is something called post-permanency services. It's a free service. We began this in 2003 through the statewide adoption network just to support adoptive families. So post-perm is a fast-growing part of our adoption ministry, and we're always there to support families, not just along the way, but even after they've adopted. So all told, in 20 years, our adoption program has grown from 1 staff to our current team of 10 full-time staff and 15 part-time workers. Since 1998, we have finalized about 500 adoptions, including 34 this last fiscal year. One of our more recent adoptions was Alex, who was adopted by Scott and Amanda McPhee.
Well, wouldn't that be something if they stopped in too?
That would be, yeah. Oh, welcome. Welcome to Tim's, the family-friendly neighborhood barbershop.
We just felt called to be here.
Are you the McPheets?
Yes.
Oh, my.
Yes, we
well,
are.
please
Yes.
share with us.
My name's Scott McPheet, and this is my wife Amanda, and this is Alex McPheet back here. And we've just come to share a little bit about our story.
So pretty much from when Scott and I were dating, through being married, adopting was something that was just on our heart. Scott is a youth pastor, so we've been working with youth and kids our entire relationship, and when we decided to kind of start searching for an agency, we found COBYS, and just really felt like they would be a good fit for us. And I remember specifically, I don't know if I'll get the statistic right, but we were thinking an older child. A lot of people I know look for babies or younger, but we were thinking older. And one of the statistics during training was I think it was 85% of kids who age out of the system who don't get adopted end up in prison within the first, I think, 3 years. So that just really kind of hit home even more for us.
Yeah, and I think our faith in particular in Jesus Christ has played a huge role in our decision to become adoptive parents. This isn't written down here, but I remember before we actually started this whole process, we sat down with our family, our parents, and one of our parents said, well, why do you guys want to do this? And I said, James chapter 1, 27, religion that God our Father accepts as pure and faultless is this, to look after orphans and widows in their distress and to keep oneself from being polluted by the world. And as Amanda just told you, there are a lot of kids out there that really have no hope, and they need our help. And that we've always had a heart for teens, so that was kind of where we felt led. And we are certainly not perfect, as I think Alex would agree. We're not perfect. But, we try to live out our faith as best we can. And I think that's what James is getting at. Real faith is to be seen. Like, you can live it out. Let me show you my faith by what I do. Not because, hey, let's pat ourselves on the back, but it's because we really believe this. And we really want to help, these kids that need that help. And I will say we ultimately chose COBYS because we felt like our faith values really lined up. COBYS was not the first agency that we kind of sought out, but they were the first agency that we really just felt like, man, this is it. So.
So through our experience, we've had many joys and challenges. One of the greatest joys for us has been to watch Alex's personality come to life. Just being able to experience and watch him figure out what his passions are, be able to support him in that has just been a really, really cool experience for us. We love spending time together. We love playing games, and we're excited to find out that Alex loves to play games. So we play games together a lot, just do fun things. So in the past year, or year and a half, I guess, we've had the privilege of watching Alex grow and mature emotionally and literally. He's getting really tall. And he's just becoming a wonderful young man. And we notice more and more, especially after adoption was finalized, that he's just a lot quicker to smile and just be joyful. So one of the more difficult things for us has been the fact that our family dynamic changed. Went from Scott and I to adding a teenager to the mix. So we had to learn how to be parents of a teenager pretty quickly. So we also realized that there were things about us that we didn't know, feelings that we didn't know that we had when things were difficult. So we had to kind of learn how to work through things that we had going on so that we could help Alex as best as we knew how. So also the other thing that was really important that we liked that COBYS hit on was you have to have a really strong marriage and a strong faith because you will be tested, and that's something that they work through as well. So there was something that Paul says in the second letter to Corinthians, says, when we are weak, we become strong because we have a God who holds us up.
I think Alex wanted to say a little something.
Yes. I feel like adoption is important to me because people need a safe home and feel like they're loved and provided for. I felt like COBYS was always there for me, for making sure I was okay. Adoption has changed my life because I now have parents who truly love me and care for me, and I love them too, and I know I'm safe, and also can really follow my life.
Good job, buddy. COBYS has been really helpful to us in many, many ways. First of all, some people might actually complain about the 27 hours of training that you have to complete. That's the initial training, and then there's more training. I think it's 15 hours a year. There's a stack of paperwork about like this. We're not kidding. But it's all good. What I wanted to tell you was that, soak it up, because no amount of training will prepare you for, just the real world of adopting. However, what I appreciated with COBYS was that they didn't sugarcoat anything. They gave you the worst case scenarios and said, look, this could happen, and Alec, you are not a worst case scenario for sure, not even close. But I just really appreciated the support that COBYS offers. I mean, 24/7 support. Not all agencies can say that. 24/7. So speaking of support, I did feel like there were times where we had a whole entourage of caseworkers. We would go to these doctor's appointments, and you're sitting in this little cramped room with about 8 other people. But you know what? They all cared and supported all of us. That's the one thing that I think I forgot to say at the last banquet. Like this whole ministry seems to really focus on. We think it focuses on the kids, which it does. But this is a family ministry because it's blessed us just as much as it's blessed the kids. And we could just tell that the caseworkers really genuinely cared about Alex. They cared about us. They wanted what was best for him. And that's why, buddy, they asked a lot of questions. And I know you didn't really like that, but hey, that was their job. So.
So just kind of reiterating a little what Scott had said, just the services that COBY has offered through the fostering process, but even after adoption, services continue. So they just do so much. They're always there for you, just a phone call away, and it's just been just a really great blessing to our family.
Thanks.
Well, thanks for stopping by, Scott, Amanda, and Alex. And
Yes.
I need to go. So thanks for the offer. I'll be in touch, make
Okay,
some appointments. So thank you.
Yeah, awesome.
I'm leaving too.
Oh, okay. See you, Mark. Take care. Come again.
You know, Tim, you haven't made much money today.
No.
If it's okay with you, I really would like a haircut.
Really? Which one? I'm sorry. That was mean. Here, have a seat here and we'll fix you up. What do you want?
Well, I guess just take a little off the top.
I hate to tell you, but I think somebody beat me to it. I can try to put some back on.
You can do that?
No. Sorry, I'm sorry. That was mean.
Well, that's too bad. I was watching the Olympics, that Johnny Weir, the Olympic skating commentator.
Yeah.
I was imagining you might do me up like him.
Well, that certainly would be a hair-raising experience, Don, but I'm sorry to tell you, but you're getting a little thin on the top. Yeah.
Wow, that does look a little thin. I guess I'm just going to have to come to grips with the fact that
I think so.
I am in the early stages of moving somewhat in the direction of the first hints of male pattern baldness.
That's it. Oh, Donny boy, your locks are falling from ear to ear, far down on either side. Your bangs have gone, the follicles are dying. 'Tis you, must bid your curls goodbye. They won't come back when summer's in the meadow, or when the valley's hushed and white with snow. Your hair is gone like snowflakes in the springtime. Oh, Donny boy, it had to go. When summer comes with fiery sun a-scalding, lather your crown with SPF 30, or wear a cap to guard your head a-balding, or signs of melanoma you may see. And in the winter you must don a beanie, a stocking cap cold. Oh, Danny boy, we really hate to say it, but hair of hair is just another sign. You're old. Oh, Danny boy, you are so bald.
Well, I guess you guys are right. I am pretty bald. Tim, how about you just trim up the areas where the hair still grows?
All right, one ENB special coming up. Ear, nose, and brows.
Perfect.
And now we're supposed to get serious again. In my comments that I made last year, which I am confident are remembered verbatim by those who attended last year, I talked a little about our growth. And with everything you heard tonight, with everything that is happening, that's an easy thing for me to talk about, the growth that we've experiencing. But I'm not going to do that tonight. So recently, I have been asking myself this question. I've been asking this: why does Jesus have me at COBYS? Because at times things are daunting for staff, for families that we work with, for the kids. We're working with kids and families directly related to people who have died of a drug overdose. Kids and families dealing with a lot of issues related to abuse and neglect. And every day there are more and more kids and more families that need this help. So I believe it's entirely reasonable for me to ask Jesus where I play into all of this. What is my role in all of this? I also believe that it's entirely reasonable for me to ask you, what role do you play in this? What role do you play in our ministry? Why are you here tonight? Certainly to learn more about COBYS. I get that. To have a delicious meal? Absolutely. But more than those things, I'm hoping that tonight you will take an active role in financially supporting the ministries that you heard about tonight. I'm asking that you give as you are called to support COBYS as we work daily with kids and families dealing with really significant issues. So I said that I ask Jesus on a regular basis, why am I at COBYS? And I believe that Jesus has me here at COBYS to do whatever I can to help make sure kids are safe and families get the support and the education that they need. And I believe you want that also, right? We want kids to be safe, and we want families to get the support and the education that they need. We're about to watch a slideshow about some of the things that happened in the last year in the life of COBYS, as well as some of the kids and families that we are just privileged to serve. And then after that, I'll have a closing prayer, and then you'll be invited to drop off a gift. As Don said, there are envelopes and pens on your table. Please do not leave the gift there, and drop it off in the red box to my left. So for just now, I invite you to watch the video. Thank you for coming tonight. Thank you for your part in our ministry. Will you bow with me as we close in prayer? Dear God, we are thankful for the wonderful food and fellowship that we enjoyed this evening. I'm thankful for all these people who came to learn more about the ministries of COBYS. God, we ask for your continued blessing on COBYS as we seek to do what you have called us to do, and we pray for healing and wholeness for the children and families that we are blessed to serve. And now we ask for your blessing as we leave this place and go our separate ways. And we ask all of these things and pray all of these things in the name of Jesus. Amen. You are dismissed. Thank you for coming.